Welcome to New Gameplay. Today I'm Kyle Hilliard here with Marcus Stewart.
Hello, Kyle. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm playing, and you're watching me play, and you've also played yourself Atomic Heart.
Yes, after all these years of waiting, it's finally here, and we are both playing it. I think we're both roughly a couple of hours or so into the game.
Yeah, you're a little further than me. It's a game. I think we're on the same page. I think most people are on the same page here, where it's like this game, we've seen it for a long time. It's been like years that we've seen trailers or gameplay footage, and every time you see it, you're like, that looks really cool. So cool, in fact, that I don't know if like the final game can live up to how cool it looks. But now it's finally here, and yeah, I mean, what are your first impressions, Marcus? What do you think so far?
So my first impressions is that I think it looks nice. It's definitely going very heavily in the sort of BioShock path of things, of just like, you know, you've got guns, you've got hand powers, as you see a glimpse of there. And I think that's what made people most excited about, of like, oh, this is more or less sort of a new BioShock in a way, and I think the world looks cool. There's a really cool intro to this game I won't spoil, but it kind of does the BioShock thing of letting you get a really sort of like snapshot view of this really bizarre but really beautifully rendered world.
Right.
In terms of the gameplay so far, you know, I don't obviously have like every weapon or every superpower, but I think it's fine. I do think some of the weapons and the melee combat sort of lack a bit of a punch that I'm noticing more and more as I play. Right now I have like a lightning and a frost power to freeze people. Those work the ways you would expect them to. And again, I think it's okay, but there is some of that like, okay, maybe because this was I believe a relatively smaller team behind this, I think. So maybe in that sense it shows off more, but so far it's like I'm having like a decent time with it, and I'm having the most fun just sort of exploring and just looking at stuff and reading notes.
Yeah, and I don't think we can overemphasize sort of how BioShocky it feels like, and I mean that as like a compliment, where like you're sort of introduced to this utopia, this like futuristic utopia with like interesting technology, and things go wrong very quickly, and you're kind of witnessing that and trying to sort of clean up the mess that's happening. Yeah, it's oh, here we go. Whoa,
here you go. Take on that mustached robot.
Like the thing that has stood out to me is just like how much animation there is in everything. Like just how much your like little touches. Like I have these like little tendrils in my hand that I can use to like collect objects and stuff like that. And like it's actually like an AI that talks to you and helps you. And there's just like, even in that, there's just so much like little animation in the way the little tendrils move and like emptying all these cabinets and stuff. And there's weird context for collecting objects where I think they explained it that you're actually like shrinking them to like put them in your pocket when you pick stuff up or something like that.
Yeah, like they contextualize like video game inventory in a way that makes sense in this world.
Yeah, which honestly I always kind of like. Like, why not? Like, you know? It's like, why not explain away those weird things that don't make any sense?
I think one thing that struck me is just how, you know, coming, like a month now from Forspoken, how similar the sort of like main character and like sidekick dynamic is, because your little glove there is like a sentient AI. And
it even calls it Glove, right?
Yeah, like they have the same thing where your character, who I'm just going to say now, I'm not a big fan of the protagonist. He's very, what's the word I'm looking for,
being
Kyle?
Diplomatic when I'm just like, he's terrible.
Yeah, he's kind of like not
do not
great.
Like him.
He's like a lot of the same criticism that Frey got in Forspoken. I think you could apply to this guy, but like maybe twice as much, because of how just like weirdly overly aggressive he is about everything in like a really kind of like weird way. And he has the same back and forth with his talking glove, where the glove is very proper and he's like, I have a name, it's Charles, and he's just like, whatever, glove. And I was just like, wow, we're doing this again already. Okay.
I mean, we got to give it more time, right? Like I said, you and I are early in this game, but first impressions for the protagonists are rough, and I definitely prefer Frey if we're going to compare the two.
Oh,
you know,
yeah. Like there's a lot of chatter to the point where I think next time I'm going to play, I'm gonna see if there's like a slider to like maybe tone down the like non-essential banter because it just isn't that great and there's a lot of it. So protagonist aside, I'm definitely gonna keep playing. I'm intrigued by the mystery. There's already been a couple of weird sort of like kooky characters I've met. There's one in particular you meet very early on that I'm already like, this might already be the best character of the year. And you probably know who I'm talking about, Kyle.
Yeah, an older woman, perhaps?
Yeah, very, it's got a lot of moxie, let's say.
Yeah.
I like these lock opening things. I've encountered like 3 different types, and I think they're all pretty uniquely designed and they're pretty fun to solve. How many you've seen so far, Kyle?
Yeah.
But yeah, there is a fair amount of puzzle solving as we're seeing one of them here.
Actually, and Marcus, I don't know, could you help me with this actually? Because here's the thing. I played this section last night, and I just solved it and didn't understand how I solved it.
So you're already starting... Okay, so you're basically trying... You see the... Well, you just did it.
Well, that's like what... I don't even know what I did.
So you saw the lights at the end there on the left?
Yeah.
Like, you're pretty much trying to match the laser beams to the lights. So you see it was like the top and middle need to be red. The bottom need to be blue. So you just spin those beam-like things so that the lasers match the colors.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I had that moment where I was like, it's like never good to solve what seems to be a complicated puzzle mechanic accidentally. The first one, you know, and it's trying to teach you to play.
Yeah, I wonder if that's going to be a recurring puzzle at all. I haven't seen it appear yet, but there you go, viewers. It's a freebie for you.
Let's see. Tap B when jumping to make an additional jump. I actually missed this tutorial.
So you got it. Oh, did you just fall in that hole when you came through? Or?
No, I think I went a different path or something. Whatever, I'm here now.
Okay, so yeah, the environments are pretty, like they're linear, but there's like different like side paths you can take or like optional rooms. There's a lot of, this is definitely a like open every drawer kind of game because you're finding crafting ingredients. There's like a whole weapon upgrade system. One thing that does annoy me, even though there is an autosave, the game also has like dedicated save rooms, and there were times where like I don't know how frequently the game autosaves, but I would save in the save room and then get like a decent ways far and then die, and it would warp me back to the save room, but it also didn't checkpoint in the sense of like I had to recollect all the stuff that I got from the drawers as well as listen to the same sort of like moment-to-moment dialogue. So that's one thing I'm a little like peeved about, you know, because that of like, oh, I got to listen to this audio log again or collect this. You know, I wish it had just saved that part, you know, if I'm going to run through it. So that part feels a little dated to me, but there are autosaves. I haven't played long enough to kind of like pick up on like how frequently does it autosave.
I want to see if I can get the stealth kill, because you can stealth kill robot enemies. These are all robots.
Yeah, which makes it morally okay to do what you're doing.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, did he see me?
You're being judged, Kyle.
Okay. And when they light up red like that, that's like you want to dodge away, basically.
Yeah, you hit either circle or B, depending on what platform you're playing, to do like a quick dodge. And they teach you early on, like, hey, if you see red, you better get out the way. So like they're really big on Superman punches, I've noticed. And there have been plenty of times where like they've done running drop kicks, like a lot of wrestling moves. I'm just gonna say, yeah, like I've been drop kicked and knocked to the ground multiple times, and I've also been Superman punched quite a few times. It's very entertaining, and I think you've shown it off before. Maybe you could do it again, but you also have like a sort of detective mode scanner.
Right. Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you can,
which again, like they totally contextualize in the game and have this big, maybe arguably too much dialogue about how to hold your hand to activate the scanning using the glove. Like I don't know, but I kind of like that stuff though, where they just like go overboard with the sort of the world building, I guess you could say. You know?
Yeah, it's like I'd rather you, even if it's like a bad explanation, I always appreciate the attempt to contextualize super video gamey mechanics. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a really cool part of this. Oh, as you get hit by the.
And the health kind of functions a little like a From game a little bit, where you sort of like have to do it yourself, and it takes a little bit of time. So part of like using health in combat is timing it out correctly. But yeah, this stuff is weird. It's it's like a gel or something, and I guess you can breathe in it.
Oh, I guess it's water. Yeah, because you see it early on before you. This is the first time you have to actually swim through it, but you see it a few times just in the environment, and it's they do contextualize it where it's like this. I think they call it polymer, but it's more or less the lifeblood of all the technology in this world. Like whoever, I've enjoyed reading the lore notes and getting a sense of like how this version of Russia came to be, because this is set in like the 60s, 50s.
Yeah, it's like an alternate. Obviously, I mean, it probably goes without saying that it's like an alternate history where,
right?
Like they're trying to. It's like, again, it's almost like a spoiler, but it's like they're talking about the ideas of like consciousness and combined consciousness and like in sort of a cloud, you know, of information. You know what I mean? Like there's some weird stuff happening here.
Yeah, one thing that is weird to me is that, and I don't know if this is like an option you can change, but like I don't think I've heard a single Russian accent. Despite
just taking German here and there.
Yeah, like this takes place in Russia and all the characters have Russian names, but I think I've heard plenty of Americans, I've heard a few like English, but I don't think I've heard like a straight up Russian accent.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's like a story reason for that. Again, I'm only a couple of hours in, but there's something I was like, I keep waiting to read a note that like explains that.
Yeah.
Since they've gone out of their way to explain other things. But
I kind of ripped through it quickly, but there was like we were talking about those locks there. I found like a little note down there that showed me how to like unlock that lock, which is like a cool little puzzle. I kind of like that.
Yeah, now you're gonna get to ride the cool little gondola, whatever you want to call it, tram thing.
But yeah, just a lot of interesting world building. Like that seems to be the driving force of this game. Is like the world that they've created, the robots within it. I like the sort of the dialogue and characters are kind of pretty. I don't know. We've talked about the protagonist. I don't like him.
Yeah, he kind of goes out of his way to be unlikable.
Yeah, and well, maybe that changes. You know, I'm not super confident, but like, if that's rubbing you the wrong way as it is with Marcus and I, like, there's a lot to grab onto with just the world and the way it looks. It's a good looking game.
Yeah, I like I said, I've enjoyed just staring at things. Like I'm always excited to enter a new room or a new area, and there's been robots that they're teased early on that we haven't fought yet that I was like, oh, that's just like a cool design, you know. And also you're gonna see a bit of a platforming here, which the game, at least from what I've seen so far, has a pretty decent amount of.
They got me cornered here.
Oh, do you have a gun yet? Do you only have the axe?
I think I used all my ammo. Okay, and I haven't found more.
Should have a gun by this point.
I do, but it's empty. Oh no, I have 8 shots.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, I guess I should. Maybe
you gotta work smarter, not harder, Kyle.
You're right, Marcus. You're always right. Whoa.
Okay. Oh, you're gonna go down.
Well, I gotta climb this thing.
Oh, it's funny. You know what? I actually just jumped from the ledge to that. Like I didn't go down and climb from the bottom.
Oh, really?
Because they put the little wall ledge right there, and so I was like, oh, okay, jump from there to there. But I guess you could do this too. Options.
Options.
All right, let's see. Don't screw this up.
What's the guy's name? I don't even know the protagonist's name.
He has like 2 names. Like I've heard him called P3, which I think is like his government, because the character's like a government
P3, right,
soldier guy. But yeah, I forget what his like. They have definitely said his main name, but I haven't heard it enough times for it to stick. I know your Glove's name better than
Charles, right?
Charles or Glove, depending on who you want to, listen to.
Whoa.
So yeah, there's a cool little this segment of like having the platform, but then you're also trying to dodge this like giant mechanical worm that's just burrowing through the tunnels.
Whoa.
Yeah, don't stand in the holes.
Right thing here? Okay.
Yeah, try not to stand in the open holes, because I made that mistake once. And
oh, too close?
Or like I thought it was like a safe space, and it was like, oh no, this is just where he can come from.
Yeah, this is all I have not. Now I'm like in uncharted territory because I have not played any of this sort of section of the game.
I also like that the opening drawers thing, like if you just hold down the button, it just opens every drawer in that area, so you don't have to do it individually. I think that's a really like nice quality of life touch, and it also just looks cool to just see like 10 drawers open up at the same time.
I was looking to see if I could throw that. I'm guessing I can shoot it and it explodes.
You can throw things. I mean, you threw that box earlier.
Yeah, but that one was like too heavy. It was weird. I could pick it up and.
I don't think you can with that one because I tried the exact same thing in that room because I was like, oh, let me see, and I don't know if I did it wrong, but it wasn't doing it.
But yeah, I think this is a pretty good look. I would like to try to shoot a robot if I can.
Oh, yo.
But yeah, I mean, first impression, positive for me. There are certainly things that I'm like, I don't love. The dialogue is like, it's just from the protagonist mainly. I just don't really like his personality. Sorry to break it to you, sir, but like just the world is like I said, good first impression, where I'm kind of like, this is interesting and it looks good and there's a lot of cool animation and yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Marcus? What is your sort of overall first impression?
Yeah, I think overall it's positive. I have my own hang-ups. Same with you about the dialogue. I'm cautiously optimistic about how the gameplay evolves because so far to me the gameplay so far is just fine, but it's not blowing my mind at all.
Right.
But I want to see where the story goes, and like I said, I'm most excited to see the rest of this world because the snapshot that you get of it in the beginning really got me excited. It's like, oh, I hope we go to those places, or where else is this story going to take you? So I'm definitely going to keep playing it.
Yeah, cool. Well, that's Atomic Heart. We will have a review on the site. We have a freelancer on that one who I apologize, I don't know their name, but there'll be a proper review on the site soon. And yeah, this game's on Game Pass. I suppose I should mention that I am playing it on Xbox Series X. That's what you're seeing footage of here. But yeah, thanks so much, Marcus. I appreciate you taking the time to check out Atomic Heart with me.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.